Welcome to the Explainer. So think about this. Right now, there are literally billions more connected devices on Earth than there are human beings. Crazy, right? Today, we're diving into the massive, invisible backbone that powers our modern world. We're talking about the Internet of Things, or IoT, and how cloud, edge, and fog computing team up to make these smart devices, well, actually smart. Just think about it for a second. How does a tiny sensor, like that smart thermostat on your wall, a little microcontroller on a factory floor, or even the sleek healthcare wearable on your wrist, how does it process massive amounts of complex data? I mean, these are low-power devices, right? They've got incredibly small batteries. If they had to crunch all that data themselves, they'd literally run out of juice in minutes. The secret isn't in the device itself. It's all in the journey that data takes.
Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with the Internet of Things, look at computing architectures, explore communication protocols, jump onto the 5G superhighway, compare consumer versus industrial environments, and finally wrap up with real-world applications and security.
All right, Section 1, the Internet of Things, the first step of the journey.
So what exactly is the Internet of Things? Basically, it's a network of physical objects embedded with sensors, processing ability, and software that connect and exchange data. These physical nodes, ranging from simple temperature sensors and actuators to complex smart appliances, are the ultimate data gatherers of our modern world. They're out there, living right in our physical environment.
But here's the core problem, the real reason we need everything else we're about to talk about. These devices are heavily constrained. They have extremely low processing power and very limited onboard storage. They're designed to be cheap, small, and super energy efficient. Because of that, they simply can't store or analyze the massive waves of data they collect locally. So they gotta send it somewhere else. Moving on to Section 2, Computing Architectures, Edge, Fog, and Cloud. Let's look at how this architectural layer cake is stacked. At the very bottom, we've got our IoT devices. This is what we call the edge. It's where the data is actually born. Now, instead of sending every single piece of raw data all the way up to the cloud at the very top, which, trust me, would cause massive traffic delays, we have an intermediary layer right in the middle. We call this the fog node or server. Data flows from the edge, gets partially processed in the fog, and then only the most essential, refined insights make that long trip up to the cloud.
So you might be wondering, what exactly is fog computing? Well, think of it like a local branch manager of a bank. If a customer comes in with a standard, everyday request, the local branch manager handles it right there on site. They don't need to call corporate headquarters, the cloud, for every single little thing. Fog computing brings that cloud-like processing power right to the network's edge to handle time-sensitive data quickly and drastically reduce latency.
You can really see the stark contrast here. Without fog computing, raw data just floods directly from those edge devices all the way to the cloud. It is literally a massive traffic jam waiting to happen. But with fog computing in place, those middle nodes act like a buffer. They process, filter, and control the data locally. This drastically cuts down the raw volume of data being sent to central data centers, and that speeds up real-time responses for critical applications where, every millisecond counts. Section 3. Communication protocols, how IoT devices communicate. Okay, so we have our architecture, but how does the data actually travel? Well, not all communication is created equal. We all know HTTP, right? It's what our web browsers use, but it's text-based and honestly very heavy. For a tiny 8-bit microcontroller, trying to run full HTTP is like trying to strap a jet engine onto a bicycle. It's just way too much. That's why we use specialized protocols. MQTT is absolutely perfect for low-bandwidth networks, while CoAP is highly efficient for those severely constrained devices. These are the gold standard for getting data off IoT devices without totally draining their batteries. Let's zoom in on MQTT for a second, a protocol actually invented by IBM way back in 1999. It operates on what's called a publish-subscribe model. Think of it like an incredibly efficient postal sorting facility. A temperature sensor doesn't need to know who is asking for the data. It just publishes its reading to a central broker under a topic, like room temperature. Then, any application that wants that data simply subscribes to it. The best part? The devices don't even need to be online at the exact same time. The broker just buffers the message for them. It's a brilliant setup. Which brings us to Section 4, the 5G superhighway, accelerating data transfer. Now, we have our lightweight vehicles, but they need a fast road to travel on. Enter 5G. And look, 5G isn't just about downloading movies faster on your phone. It fundamentally transforms IoT. We are talking lower latency down to mere milliseconds and the ability to connect a massive number of devices all at once. But here's a totally counterintuitive fact. 5G actually improves energy efficiency for our devices. Because it transmits data so unbelievably fast, the IoT sensor doesn't have to stay awake and connected as long. It just fires off its packet in a flash and goes right back to sleep, saving precious battery life. How cool is that?
Next up, Section 5, Consumer versus Industrial IoT, Different Destinations. So this entire data journey changes depending on the environment. The stakes couldn't be more different if the destination is a residential home versus a massive factory. Consumer IoT is really all about convenience. If your smart speaker drops its Wi-Fi connection for 2 minutes, it's a minor annoyance. You just ask for the weather again later. But industrial IoT, or IIoT, builds on operational technology. If an industrial temperature sensor on a high-speed manufacturing line drops its connection, you could be facing catastrophic equipment failure, severe safety risks, and literally millions of dollars in halted production. That is exactly why IIoT absolutely demands business-critical reliability and those specialized protocols we talked about.
And finally, Section 6, Applications and Security, the final destination. We've arrived at the final destination in our explainer. The applications here are truly life-changing. In healthcare, wearable IoT devices use that fast 5G and those lightweight protocols to continuously monitor vital signs, sending life-saving data to doctors instantly during an emergency. Meanwhile, smart cities are out there optimizing traffic lights in real time based on actual road congestion. And manufacturing plants, they're predicting machine failures before they even happen. All of this incredible tech is powered by that seamless data flow from the edge, through the fog, and up to the cloud. But with great connectivity comes a massive attack surface. When you merge billions of devices with 5G, you're basically creating millions of new potential entry points for hackers. Robust end-to-end security is totally non-negotiable here. We have to use tools like public key infrastructure, or PKI. You can think of PKI as an unforgeable digital passport. It assigns a trusted, verifiable identity to every single device on the network. If a device doesn't have its digital passport to cryptographically prove who it is, no way. It shouldn't be allowed to talk to the cloud, period. Which brings us to our final thought. Today we've seen how tiny sensors offload data, how fog computing prevents digital traffic jams, how MQTT acts as a lightning-fast post office, and how 5G speeds the whole shebang up. As these billions of devices merge securely into our daily lives and industries, the possibilities are practically boundless. So, as billions of devices merge with 5G, edge computing, and the cloud, what will our fully connected future look like? That's something for all of us to think about. Thanks for joining me on today's Explainer, and keep learning.